Have people ever mistaken you for looking like another rapper?
Man,
Andy Mineo?
no, no one's ever said Andy Mineo, but that's flattering because he's got bars. He's got serious bars. He's from New York, or he's from New York, right? New York, upstate. I think he's from upstate New York. He's Italian, dude. He's dope. He's dope. I think my bro DJ Ricky Rich like reposted an Andy Mineo track on his SoundCloud like a while ago. I want to say. But yeah, if I look like Andy Mineo, that's dope. Andy Mineo is awesome. Shout out Andy Mineo.
Now, what is your ethnicity?
So I'm Persian. I'm Persian ethnicity. Farsi is the language, but my religion is Bahá'í. So so it's interesting because like I can't go to Iran. Like if I go there, first, I only have American citizenship, and everyone knows Iran is always in the news all the time, for a bunch of mess. Shout out President Obama because he like did magic with that situation. Like for the first time in years, there's like actual discourse between America and Iran. But in Iran, the Baha'i community is we're not allowed to go to college. So there's like a university that we kind of set up. But a lot of Baha'i activities are deemed illegal, like meeting in groups greater than 7, going to college. Baha'i marriage is not considered official, and this is why, okay? Islam has a rule that says Muhammad was the seal of the prophets, and they interpret that as he is the last, and Islam is the very last religion ever. And that's the official interpretation by the clerics, but the Baha'i faith came after Islam. We believe in all religions, that they're all part of the same continuum. But we believe in cycles, and we believe that the prophetic cycle was sealed by Muhammad, and that there's a new cycle now, the cycle of fulfillment of all the prophecies. So, this is just I guess semantics or whatever, but there's a long history of martyrs and people that have been persecuted by whatever government has been in Iran, just because of their religion, and the Baha'i faith definitely lies in there. So I kind of hesitate claiming my ethnicity sometimes because they don't claim me. They don't want me. My religion claims me, and my religion is not just one ethnicity. Persians are actually not even a large portion of the Baha'i faith. The largest contingency, one group is 2 million Baha'is are in India. We are the second most widespread religion in the world, not in numbers, but in spread outside of Islam. You go to any village in any country in the world, you're gonna see Baha'is, and that's something I'm proud of more than just my genetic makeup, what alleles are in my genome. That's not really important to me whatsoever. But in society, current society, it's very stressed because our economic opportunities, our paycheck, is determined a lot based on what we look like, because there are people that are in power that give people jobs and interviews that select you based on your name, and my government name is a million syllables. They select you based on your name and also based on what you look like. I feel the ideal will be that we'll all become individual entrepreneurs, to where once we go get our education, we will be able to have the ability to work for a certain period of time, save up, be financially conscientious about how we spend and not live paycheck to paycheck, so that we can have our own commerce and be treated as each person will be a corporation to a certain degree and be able to put themselves on, to where you won't be so susceptible. And the reason why they don't want people educated is because that's the next step. That's the progression. Once people have education, and it's not just a degree. So many people go to college, and I have 2 degrees. I had 2 degrees, and I couldn't get a job for people who had degrees. I had to go to med school. So getting a trade is more important than having a bachelor's or master's. If you have a service or a trade, that's the most important. But yeah, man, I digress.
Do people mistaken you for a white rapper?
In Jackson, yeah, people call me white boy all the time. Actually, one of my best friends, Fresh, every time he gets drunk, he's like, "And I ain't talking to you, white boy." I'm like, I'm not. I keep telling him I'm not. It's not like, listen, I have no problem. I know. It's famous. People who are an ethnic minority get offended when you call them white, and the reason is because they don't want to go through they feel like, well, man, I don't want to be associated with white people because, white people are mean to me, too, not just you know what I'm saying? They won't, people try to be down. I don't care. People can call me white all day. People can say I'm white and say I'm white privilege and all that. I'm not going to get mad because I have love for everybody. But I'm definitely not white, but people in Jackson, people confuse me for white all the time, especially if I shave. Now, when I have my beard, which is how my girl likes it and how I like it because I don't have to razor burn myself all the time and get bumps and stuff. But, I mean, Persians are so many different ethnicity, so Alexander the Great came through, and then you have and then Genghis Khan came through, and then you have the Persian Empire went from Egypt all the way to India. So, and there's a large Afro-Persian population in the south of, Afro-Iranian population in the south of Iran. So we're all mixed up, but I mean, the only thing that keeps our identity is our language. And if it wasn't for Genghis Khan, actually, who cultivated, he conquered and raped and pillaged and killed all the men and all that business. But, I mean, it is what it is. This is ancient history, so who cares at this point? I got love for everybody. But he actually preserved the Farsi language to keep it to where, Persians are still Persian. But to be honest, our genetic makeup is probably identical to people who are Arab or people who are Turkish. It's like Marco Polo. This is what Marco Polo said. He said he went from Europe to China. And every village he stopped at, or every place he stopped at, the people looked exactly like the place he left until he got to China. And it was continuous. Genetics is like liquid. You know what I mean? You put a drop and it just spreads out. That's why they try and segregate so much, because when you put a membrane, an impermeable membrane, then when you put a drop of something, it won't go across. But if you lift that up, you put a drop in the middle of a bucket or the middle of a square container, it's going to spread. So that's just how everything is, man. And, features. Listen, every single feature you can say on skull, because, scientific racism, I've almost minored in anthropology and almost minored in African American studies. I was one class short, but I was 5 years in college and they wanted me out. So every physical characteristic that is in the population, you can find it within certain groups in Africa. For instance, people say, well, Asian people have eyes that look a certain way. There's tribes in Africa that look Asian. And then if you go to parts of Asia, you can find Aboriginal populations that definitely look black. So, and Filipinos and so it's we're all mixed up, but in the modern times, we have systems that have made our society form our brains to have these cutoffs, who fits where, and it's it's what we live in. So race is very real socially, very real, because it determines your education level, it determines where you eat, how you get paid, it determines how you're treated. But, I don't get mad if people call me white. God bless everyone. I love everyone.